Hi, my name is Calder Shilling, and I'm playing Sherlock Holmes.
Hello, I'm Nate Tenenbaum playing Watson.
And you're watching Eclectic Arts Media.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time today. It's really great to be back at the Taproot Theatre. Yeah, and so the production that you're doing is Sherlock Holmes and the,
The Case of the Curious Position.
okay, and it's going to be opening on May 15th, and it runs through June 15th right now, which is next week.
Yes.
My understanding is that the first weekend's already sold out.
That's what they say.
Yeah, we've been told maybe even like the first 2 weeks are pretty full, so it's pretty remarkable. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing, and that's got to make you feel really good as actors, knowing that you're going to have crowds every time you perform.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have the budget of Oppenheimer, so it's always good. It's always good when people are paying up front to come and see something like live.
Where are you in the production right now in terms of getting ready for the show?
We just started tech this week, so we've been in this room doing our rehearsals up until this point, and then on Monday was our first day next door on the actual stage, and so it's all that getting used to the new spacing with the actual scenic elements and getting all our costumes and props in place, and then and then starting the Q to Q and the tech and making sure all those wonderful sort of theater magic elements are all kind of falling into place.
Awesome. So, and you guys were telling me earlier that it sounds like you have cast members that you already know and have worked with before. So I imagine that must make things easier for you with this new show.
You want me to talk? Sure. Yeah. Yes. It does it makes it smooth. We're all really comfortable with each other, and comedy works best with familiarity. And I think we all make each other laugh. So it really helps in something that needs to be pretty quick. So yeah, I mean, Karen's always talking about how it doesn't even feel like work when we come in, and yeah, as long as it stays funny and fast, I think it won't ever.
Okay, and so that kind of brings up a point for people that are interested in the show when they think about Sherlock Holmes and they think about Watson. They probably have certain things in their head of what the show might be like without giving too much away. What kind of tone can they expect from this production?
I mean, it's definitely in a farcical direction. I'm a big fan of Arthur Conan Doyle and his stories. I think that this is in the tradition of other adaptations of Sherlock Holmes that you may have seen or experienced. There's some more humor invested to make it a little bit more animated, and I think it fits the medium of the theater better than like a novel or a book would. So I do think you can expect the characters to be a little bit more lively than maybe what you would read off the page. But a lot of those core values and sort of the truths of those characters are still there.
Okay, and with both of your characters, how do you find ways to build that chemistry that your characters need for any Sherlock Holmes production that you're doing?
I would say sometimes you have to build it, and sometimes it's already pre-existing. Calder and I already have a friendship like that, which started in See How They Run, which leads it back to Karen. I think Karen just knew. She really kind of had a sense of what wouldn't need to be worked, and I think that's what makes that dynamic so great is the shared respect and the intellect that they share with each other, and that's pretty clear. I saw this kid in a production at Seattle Shakes called The Rivals, and I was like, I want to work with that. That's brilliant. And so I think that's a lot of what Watson accepts into his life about Sherlock is the fact that I respect that. Yes, where we go doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we kind of encapsulate in this show is that connection between the two of them and where it will go and what it will do.
For both of you as actors, is that something that you just do as a cast, kind of as things kind of roll along? Is it up to the director? Or it's kind of like just kind of depends.
It definitely can depend. I mean, mostly once we open a show, the director is much less involved. Like, in this particular show, like Karen will come and see the show sometimes, but she's not going to be giving us lots of notes or updates as we go. We might get some adjustments from stage management if they feel like we have moved away from the show that we built originally, if we've gone sort of too far as we were exploring new ideas and things. But generally, all that change, that happens pretty organically throughout the process. I love working here at Taproot specifically for that reason, because I think it kind of supercharges that for you, partly because of the fact that the space is so intimate. You're so close to the audience. So every single performance can be quite different because it's so easy to tune in to what your audience is feeling, what they're thinking, and they're different every time. And so that really helps shape over the course of a whole run, but even individual performances can be vastly different when you're that close and that connected to your audience.
I think there's also like a process to getting the performance onto the stage, at least on my end as an actor, that allows me to like put my brain in the process of where I am and who this character is, and then put my body in there when we're getting the blocking and then the lines. And then once that stuff comes all together in tech, you start to like get into the environment and the choices become more spontaneous. And I know that's what like leads to the growth of what you might see in a performance that I might do, is where like the beginning of it, I've just connected the whole sandwich and I'm just like, here we go, great. And then you take that bite and everything's sort of like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted, and you can just start running. You pretty much pick up a gate, and those choices just grow from the circumstances, the speed that everybody's working in at the moment, and so you just end up with a more developed, realized character, which then causes way more new choices.
Well, do you have anything that you tend to do, not just for this show, but other shows you've done in the past and the ones you'll be doing in the future, that you tend to do for opening night for yourself? Anything that you tend to, like, if not a ritual, but just things you try to do to get yourself in that headspace before you actually step on the stage for the first time with a new show?
Good question. I mean, trying to be centered, trying to find time to connect with your other cast members, for sure. That's something that, we try to do before every show a little bit, but I think opening, the energy is it's so different than any other performance. It's important to sort of really take that moment to sort of like, I don't know, like draw that in, but also not let it kind of overtake you, because it can be really easy to let that adrenaline just kind of let you run away, and it's important to sort of like harness that in a way that is valuable and useful, because it's rare. You only really get that for opening night, that particular kind of an energy, but you don't want to let it sort of take over the show. You still want to be able to do what you've built. So I think really taking that time to connect with the other actors that you're working with is just particularly critical for opening. Make sure everybody is together, we're on the same page, we're working towards the same goals, and we know we're about to have an amazing time. So it's a great moment. Yeah.
I am like leading a singular campaign to like decharge the aura around opening night, because I agree. I think, especially in period pieces, like that energy can take you out of 1800s London quicker than anything. And like what I'm trying to do is like give something that bring the culmination of what we've been working on in the room, like in the world now. It's about like living into it fully, and like hopefully they're getting something from that, obviously. But I like to stay pretty present, and I have a ritual after every opening night. I go home and make myself a breakfast sandwich. And so I'm kind of thinking like this really great sandwich, and I'm like, okay, we've earned this. We have married the technical aspects, and we've married the script work that we've done, and we've given 110 or whatever your barometer is to this process, and this is the beginning of us honing it. My goal is like to get maybe one or two shows where I'm like, that's very god darn close. That's very close, and I feel like with that is that's my goal. So like past opening night, the goal is to just sink in with everybody, the tech, the lights, and get like very close to the sun a few times in a run.
begs the question, what kind of breakfast sandwich do you make?
Ooh, you ready?
Ooh, I'm excited.
Okay, so I do a brioche bun. I do a thick cut bacon, Kroger bacon. I've tried several bacons, folks. Kroger has this crazy salinity to it that
The
just.
cut is good at Kroger.
Oh,
I'm with you.
okay. And then I do a framble, which is like a fried scrambled egg, some green onion, and then I do a little QP on one side of it, and I do a little bit of this soy barbecue sauce on the other side, and I just. I'm telling you, kids. Get into acting so you can make a sandwich.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.